Three, two, one, go. So hello everyone, we are in the third episode of Musafir Zindagi के and आज हमारे साथ हैं निपुन अरोरा. So निपुन से I met
Hi
him.
guys.
Yeah, Nipun is here. And Nipun से मैं first time I think कुछ I think 2 weeks back हम लोग expedition पे गए थे in Spiti Valley. तो वहाँ उस trip में निपुन was sort of one of the members in that trip. वहीं से हमारी conversation शुरू हुई and that's when we came to know about each other and वहाँ से फिर हमारी discussions चल रही हैं. Today I thought I'll invite him to our podcast. So go ahead Nipun, introduce yourself.
Hi guys. So I am from Delhi. I am 24 years old and I met uh, Deepak on a recent trip to Spiti. I think it was a car expedition. It was a road trip to Spiti Valley and around in Himachal Pradesh. I think it was somewhere around 2,100 kilometers or so, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 2,000. How long was it? Exactly, I yaad nahi meko, but it was somewhere around that only.
Yeah.
Quite adventurous. Every day was something new, I think.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, so I think we started off from Delhi, Chandigarh, and then I think
I started off from Delhi. You met me.
yeah, you started
You
off
met me
from
in
Delhi,
Chandigarh.
then we went on from Chandigarh, and I think from Chandigarh to at least our first day, that was Solan. I was
Yeah.
having just met you, so that's
Yeah.
sort of started.
I remember. You were driving that time.
Yeah, so that ride was mine, and I think we were talking about a lot of stuff that time. I think we had a lot of discussions. I think
that was the first time we met. So you were telling me about Amazon, what you did, your college, things about college. So I think I met everybody, Jag, Siddharth, and Uday.
Correct.
So I thought you guys were from same college. Then I realized कि नहीं, अच्छा, you two are from same college and Siddharth is from other one.
Yeah, हम लोग की भी friendship, it's just like Siddharth, Uday. For me, वो लोग जग के friends हैं, but हाँ अब सिद्धार्थ के साथ I've been on 2 trips and उदय के साथ एक trip which was very big. So Spiti Valley को I count as 2 trips usually. And
First कौन सा था?
फर्स्ट हम लोग गए थे कसौल खीर गंगा ट्रेकिंग पे, तो तब भी सिद्धार्थ था हमारे साथ.
अच्छा, ठीक है.
हाँ, तो उस ट्रिप पे that's when we first met. एंड उसके साथ मैं वैसे भी मिला हूँ चंडीगढ़ में once or twice जब मैं चंडीगढ़ में था. थोड़ी बहुत थी, बट इस ट्रिप के बाद that's solidified. अब वो सिर्फ जग के फ्रेंड्स नहीं, मेरे फ्रेंड्स हैं. That's
How do you like Chandigarh usually? Like how do you find the city apart comparison to Bangalore?
Comparison to, see, weather is comparable. I think Bangalore थोड़ा ज़्यादा ठंडा है, but it's also good weather wise. चंडीगढ़ में मतलब बोलते हैं पंजाबी मुंडे होते हैं, but I don't know. मुझे तो रिटायरमेंट
चंडीगढ़ में चंडीगढ़ में फिर से बोलियो.
चंडीगढ़ में हाँ, तो वहाँ पे बेसिकली मेरे को तो रिटायरमेंट सिटी लगती है. बुढ़ापे में अगर
exactly, that is what my thought is
तो चंडीगढ़ में मैं सेटल होना चाहूंगा 65 साल के बाद.
सही में सही, मतलब इतनी काम सिटी है and everything is very clean, greenery.
Probably I think हाँ, चंडीगढ़ is also India का first sort of fully
planned city,
right?
Planned city.
उसके पीछे ही I think there is this city called भुवनेश्वर जो उड़ीसा का capital है. That is also modeled on Chandigarh. तो जैसे वहाँ पे sectors and all that things वो पूरा replicate किया है भुवनेश्वर में. Also,
but I would still prefer Chandigarh.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just saying that the city is sort of a model for developing good in India. And
Chandigarh has its own like it's in the heart of Punjab, but it's not really Punjab. It's a very metropolitan city. Like I won't consider that as a tier 2 city, to be honest. Like it has its own vibe.
Yeah.
Modern Punjab.
So just to put things in perspective, like would you keep Lucknow in a tier 2 city?
Probably tier 3.
लखनऊ नहीं हुआ. व्हाट वाज दैट सिटी जिसका नाम चेंज हुआ? लखनऊ ही थी क्या? कानपुर? कौन सा? इलाहाबाद वाज चेंज टू देवप्रयाग. पी से.
What the fuck?
जो उसके कॉमिक्स था में भी था आकाश के. पलक्कड़ तो साउथ में है, if I remember correctly. एक मिनट, you can check that. क्या देख रहे थे हम लोग? इलाहाबाद का नया नाम.
इलाहाबाद
प्रयागराज यस इलाहाबाद ही था ना
हाँ
लिखा
कहाँ लिखा है
लिखा है क्या कहाँ पे
कहाँ लिखा है
चेंज टू प्रयाग ऊपर जा अच्छा हाँ या इलाहाबाद वाज चेंज टू प्रयागराज ये भी काफी फैसिनेटिंग है वैसे मोदी
मतलब आई डोंट सी अ पॉइंट
I also don't see a point. I'm
चेंजिंग द
just
नेम
saying it's a very
गुड़गांव था अच्छा खासा गुड़गांव चल रहा था एवरीबॉडी वाज वेरी हैप्पी गुरुग्राम कर दिया उसको क्यों
Gurugram is it's very difficult to pronounce also as a normal
एग्जैक्टली
pronunciation. But Gurgaon is so
कॉन्वर्सेशन में
custom.
हाँ
Exactly.
तो
And ये
गुड़गांव बेसिकली केम फ्रॉम गांव ऑफ गुरुज दैट इज व्हाई इट्स कॉल्ड गुड़गांव इट वाज फर्स्टली लाइक नोन एज गुरुगांव इट वाज लाइक विलेज ऑफ गुरुज फिर उसको गुड़गांव कर दिया अब गुरुग्राम कर दिया पता नहीं वो
like gurus you mean like sadhu sant types, right?
या
अच्छा अच्छा वहां पे आई वाज नॉट अवेयर कि ऐसा कुछ सीन है गुड़गांव के लिए एटलीस्ट मुझे लगता
अब
था
तो
बस
कुछ नहीं है
दिल्ली का
गुरुओं
सॉर्ट
का
ऑफ एक
अब वहां
आउटस्कर्ट
सिर्फ दारू मिलती है अब
वहां दारू मिलती है अच्छा वहां पे
हाँ
वो कॉन्सेप्ट है ना बीवाईओबी वाला गुड़गांव में
हाँ बहुत सारे अभी भाई होगी वहां पे लाइक जो जितनी भी आपकी वायरिंग बेयर शॉप्स है उसके पीछे दे हैव देयर ओन ईटरीज सामने से अल्कोहल लो या अपनी अल्कोहल ले और दे डोंट केयर एंड जस्ट ईट हैव फन दे हैव गुड म्यूजिक ग्रेट वाइब और चिल करो चले जाओ ओवर
एंड
एक्सपेंसिव अल्कोहल का पैसे नहीं देने पड़ते बस
तो बीवाईओबी में लाइक डू दे सर्व अल्कोहल या सर्व भी नहीं करते हैं मतलब कितने
नहीं they'll provide you with ice they'll provide you with glasses they'll give you plastic glasses I think or depending on the kind of BYOB you're going
yeah
so
that's okay what I'm
ice
saying is do they serve
आइस कोक एवरीथिंग नॉन अल्कोहलिक जूस वूस सब मिलेगा सब मिक्सर्स मिलेंगे
हाँ
यू फाइंड
मतलब वो
एवरीथिंग देयर
अल्कोहल सर्व नहीं करते ना दे डोंट सर्व
हाँ
अल्कोहल
बस अल्कोहल नहीं मिलती अल्कोहल आपको बाहर खुद जाके लानी पड़ती है
हाँ वही वही कह रहा था मैं कि कितने एथिकल है वो इससे पता चलेगा ना कि अगर वो बाहर के अलाउ कर रहे हैं बट खुद
तो
की भी सेल कर रहे होते हैं तो उतने एथिकल नहीं होते
हाँ
ना
हाँ अरे नहीं बाहर की भी अलाउड है लाइक अपनी भी लेके आ सकते हो उसमें कोई इशू नहीं होता
मैं कह रहा हूँ अगर वो
जरूरी
खुद
नहीं
सेल
कि
कर
आपको उनकी
मैं कह रहा हूँ अगर वो खुद सेल कर रहे होते हैं तो थोड़ा सा अनएथिकल हो जाता है ये वाला बहुत आइडियल सिनेरियो हो गया कि दे आर नॉट इवन सेलिंग
बट ठीक है दे आर मेकिंग मनी फ्रॉम द फूड राइट दे आर
हाँ
नॉट इन्वेस्टिंग इन द लिकर लाइसेंस
हाँ करेक्ट वहां पे बहुत सेविंग्स हो रही है करेक्ट
So I think from what I remember, Delhi mein liquor license is for about 60-70 lakhs.
60-70 lakhs for one like 1 year का लाइसेंस
That I'm not sure is if it's like a lifetime thing or renew कराना
हाँ
पड़ता है.
बट इट्स अ लॉट
But
60-70 lakhs रुपीस
हाँ
फॉर
तो आप वही देखो ना उसको रिकवर करने में एटलीस्ट टेक अ लॉन्ग टाइम उससे
या
पहले यू कैन ऑलवेज
तो
प्लस गुड़गांव में आई थिंक इट्स चीपर सो एनीवे सही सीन है सॉर्टेड है ऑफिस पार्टीज के लिए काफी सही है
सही है एंड
जहाँ तुम्हें पता है 2 बॉटल चलनी है बस और क्या
करेक्ट ऑल्सो इस बार लाइक आई वाज जस्ट थिंकिंग हम लोग अपनी सो ट्रिप पे इस बार अपना मेजर जस्ट फॉर एवरीवन टू नो हमारा मेजर मोड ऑफ ट्रांसपोर्ट वाज कार्स तो वी
मेजर क्या इट वाज द ओनली मोड ऑफ
that
ट्रांसपोर्ट
was the
अपार्ट
only
फ्रॉम
mode of
फुट
transport other than that we had our feet but overall हाँ सिर्फ कार ही था and around 2200 kilometers in total and I think four wheel drive cars ही थी सारी I think क्यों भाई I
देव
acknowledge four wheel drive cars
बी
थे
असर्टिव ब्रो मतलब पता होना चाहिए तेरे को क्या है यू वर ड्राइविंग ऑल दिस व्हाइल
The car had four tires. मतलब
आई
four wheel
थिंक
drives थी
फोर
and
व्हील ड्राइव थी पता नहीं लगाई थी या नहीं लगाई थी कुछ तो करा था मैंने ऐसे नॉब घुमाई थी मैंने कुछ तो हुआ था पता नहीं क्या हुआ
हाँ
वो
तो
कह
वहाँ
रहे थे कि एंगेज कर दो पता नहीं क्या एंगेज कर रहे थे इतने एंगेजमेंट का क्या करेंगे
शादी हाँ तो एनीवेज मैं ये कह रहा था कि हाँ कार में था तो आई थिंक नॉट आई थिंक आई एक्नॉलेज या आई नो
अरे
कि
देव
निपुन is sort of fascinated with cars and you take part in
नहीं
the
नहीं हेलो आई हैव अदर फैसिनेशंस एज वेल जस्ट टू बी लाइक
yeah what other fascinations do you have
we'll have that on another podcast not मुसाफिर जिंदगी
तो यहाँ पे क्या करना है आप बताइए
you're diverting from the topic bro
मैं
हाँ ये
क्या
क्या
कह
बोल रहा क्या कह रहा
मैं ये कह रहा था कि देखो पॉडकास्ट का ना यूजुअली एक पर्पस होता है, ठीक है, एवरी पॉडकास्ट यू डिस्कस
पर्पस।
समथिंग, राइट? तो आज इस
अच्छा।
पॉडकास्ट में मुसाफिर जिंदगी एपिसोड नंबर 3 में हम क्या डिस्कस करना चाहेंगे? दैट्स माय क्वेश्चन। कार्स, व्हाट वुड यू लाइक?
ट्रिप डिस्कस तो नहीं, like it's just normal conversation. Like I was told, I was never given a topic to talk on.
हाँ हाँ, तुम दोनों डिस्कस करोगे भाई।
हाँ हाँ,
बात
डिस्कस
ऐसे
ही
ही
कर रहे हैं यार, टॉकिंग अबाउट इट। यस।
Ask me something, bro. कुछ बोल यार।
अच्छा, वो बता, जो जेन ने बेंटले को हराया था ड्रैग रेस।
हाँ, that was, I think, let me remember. That was some Bentley नहीं थी, I think it was some tuned A6. बेंटले वाली मैंने देखी नहीं थी, बेंटले वाली उसने देखी थी, सार्थक ने देखी थी। तो
उसने करण ने।
थोड़ा कंटेक्स्ट दो,
हाँ, करण।
कहाँ पे हो रहा है?
So that was,
थोड़ा
so every year they used to happen a drag racing event in DTU. DTU is Delhi Technical University in Delhi. So during their college fest, they used to organize drag racing events in their college. Backstage में होता था, I think somewhere around 400 meters or 500 meters. I don't recall exactly कितना था. So people from in and around Delhi, NCR, even Chandigarh से लोग आते थे to take part in the events. बहुत nominal fees होती है, there's nothing too fancy, but you get to meet like-minded people.
निपुन, we lost you.
Hello, am I audible?
हाँ, you're audible. Go ahead.
Your internet connection is unstable. Just a second, guys. Hello,
हाँ, yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
hello,
हाँ भाई, आवाज आ रही है हमारी?
hello.
निपुन, आवाज आ रही है हमारी? निपुन, आवाज आ रही है? अच्छा, अब स्क्रीन रिकॉर्डिंग मैंने चालू कर दिया। ओके, ठीक है, वेरी बैक। एंड हम लोग किस टॉपिक के बारे में बात करते हैं? टेलिंग अस अबाउट दिस ड्रैग रेस, राइट, जो दिल्ली में होती है।
हाँ, so we used to have, अब नहीं होती. So we used to have drag racing event at DTU, that is Delhi Technical University. It is in Delhi, so they used to have these drag racing events every year during the college fest, somewhere in February or so. So this one time, this it was a very famous known guy who had his Zen with a steam engine and a turbo plonked on it, and it was making, I think, around 180 odd horsepower, and it so we all knew what that car was capable of. So we were just anticipating कि कितना gap लेके आगे निकलेगी with that tuned A6. So it was a white A6 as far as I remember, and that is also probably around 220 odd horsepower uh, for a 2-liter TDI. So this is what you're showing is the new one, that was an older generation.
This one?
नहीं, prior to this is the same one. Type 2011, 2015 डाल तो आ जाएगा A6 2015. Yeah, this one.
This
Yeah,
one,
this one,
right?
exactly this one. Yeah, TDI. So
Okay.
it was a 2-liter TDI, front wheel drive, and I think it was tuned to about 220 odd horsepower. And so the car just blew away, man. The Zen took it off like anything, and it all came down to power to weight ratio. The more the power, the lighter car you have, the faster it will be. It's as simple as that. Basic physics. So everybody was quite amazed, but the ASIC guy also knew that kuch to hoga. That is why he's trying to compete with me. He just wanted to know how. So we also had a Alpina 760 Li. That is a very one of a kind car. Alpina 760. Alpina V7 डाल दो. हाँ, 760 Li V12. Yeah, this one. BMW. So right 2004. 2004. 2004. 2004. Yeah, exactly this one.
Okay.
So this was the one with Alpina. Nah, ये blue वाला B7 E65. Yeah. So this was the one in white color. and it had a V12. It is a very one of a kind car, very rare. So it came out. It came out as an original BMW, but the guy imported the all OEM Alpina kit from, I think, from Germany. From when I talked to him,
Uh-huh.
and
So
it is an all-wheel
help me
drive.
understand what
It was a quite sorry.
help me understand what does like I have heard about V6, V8, V10, V12. What does this mean really? I'm not really
So
sure.
this is engine. It is a 12-cylinder car.
Okay.
12 cylinders, as in 12 cylinders, as in like how do I compare? So sine 90 is one. So when an engine is placed at 90-degree angle, it will make the maximum horsepower.
Okay.
So V9. So most of the engine, or most of the either engine are placed in 60-degree, or I think 90-degree.
Okay.
60 का I am not sure कौन सा वाला है, but 90 में तो काफी सारे हैं. So 90 पे आप इसमें 6 cylinders on each side, and it's a V12 engine.
So V6 would have 6 cylinders on it.
नहीं, V6 would have 3 cylinders on each side, total 6 cylinders.
Total 6, right? Okay, got it.
Yeah,
So
so
more
you
the
have
number of
various,
cylinders, more the amount of power.
more the fuel.
Okay, more the fuel also. Got it.
But now with the turbocharging and all the new tech that is coming, so it's not necessary that more the number of cylinders actually means more power. So from our trip, the guy Karan was talking about his 3.2 Endeavor, right? And that was a 5-cylinder car. So that car makes, I think, around 200 horsepower. And a 2-liter variant is now out, 2-liter 4-cylinder diesel, that makes globally 210 horsepower.
Good.
So it's very variable because everything is evolving very fast. And
so, like, what do you see the future of cars like in that next 5
EV, bro, EV,
10 years? So you are
EV.
all in for that Tesla?
Yeah. Not Tesla, but I would rather have a economy car with a lot of range than a Tesla. I mean, I'm still very skeptical about how would you actually dispose a battery, because lithium, from what I have actually, I haven't researched much about it, but actually, like, disposing a battery would create a lot more waste than just using fuel. Like after 10 odd years, a battery, the capacity gets depleted a lot and it needs replacement. So what are you going to do with the old one? So you have to somehow either like throw it away or something, because if you see till date, people are what US is doing is वहाँ पे तो काफी टाइम से EVs चल रही हैं. So जो Toyota Prius है, उनकी बैटरीज जो used हैं, we are trying to get those batteries imported in India. So we are so far behind कि उनके used batteries भी लेने को ready है.
अच्छा, okay.
Which are essentially depleted.
Right now, I think lithium, at least in abundance, right? Lithium is very abundant.
Lithium ores are very rare. China में बहुत सारी ores हैं, and there is a startup in I think I read the Verge का article था, I'm not sure किसका था, that US में वो try कर रहे हैं to find lithium ores, and US में East Coast में, and there's a startup in India in Bangalore which is trying to make aluminium based batteries.
There are some very fuck-all concepts of like batteries that I've seen. So there is this one battery. What happens is, so your phones, a lot of that is battery, right? And it's a cuboid that comes and it's placed on your phone. Now they're researching on a new kind of battery where they'll just make the components of your phone and just fill all the remaining space with a battery, with a very thin battery that's sort of a coil that can take any shape, and that entire area will be your battery. So that's a idea.
Is that a concept video? I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, I think I can search it somehow.
Are you talking about wireless charging?
No, not talking about wireless charging. Not sure how I can search it, but yeah, basically what they were trying to do is, so if you have a phone, right, you have some components, your RAM, your other camera and all those gear inside that phone. Then after all of that,
XYZ everything this.
Hello.
हाँ ठीक है आगे.
हाँ, तो
Yeah.
उसमें व्हाट हैपेंस इज कि जो स्पेस बच जाती है, देन आफ्टर दैट बैटरी को बिना लगाए व्हाटएवर स्पेस इज लेफ्ट, वो मल्टीपल कंपोनेंट्स के बीच में देयर वुड बी स्पेसेस, राइट? वो अभी खाली रहती है. What this would do is it would be a sort of a gel that would sort of fill.
So modular battery sort of a thing. Yeah, got it.
Not
To
really
fill in
modular,
space,
it's a liquid
which would fill in
form
the
sort of.
spaces.
Yeah, yeah, it's filling the entire space, not leaving any spaces, thereby increasing the efficiency of that battery very highly. Like it will be able to
Huh.
store much more sort of energy in that volume, and that density is increased. So that can be very helpful. It's a proposed future, because right now I don't think any mobile phones now come with a removable battery, right? So it's a phone that you'll throw sometime in the
Yeah.
future. So then filling all of that up inside, I think, makes sense, right?
Yeah, but like, um, I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon. I hope it does, but like, it might take some time. I haven't seen any concept video as well. I'm
Hmm.
sure you would have. So,
Yeah,
well, I mean, bringing consumer electronics first, we should like probably make a lot of testing before giving it to the hands of public. I
correct.
feel that's
Yeah,
very
I,
true,
I- I'm
and
also.
I would probably not be the first person to test that out and go and pay like $1 million for that on the first day, standing in the queue, and later
Yeah.
realizing it blowing up in my hands.
Yeah, yeah, I think it will take at least 10 to 15 years. But that's the problem with batteries. So battery technology hasn't improved a lot in the last 30, 40 years. It's the same old concept. Even there is not much
Mhm.
progress in hydrogen power cars or hydrogen cells. That's also not had any progress.
So I was reading that it's very difficult to actually, uh, transport hydrogen. That is why they're
Exactly.
not that successful. So, and also keeping it in a hydrogen station is also very expensive.
Yeah,
And as you all know, hydrogen is very flammable, so
yeah. So one solution that people.
explosive actually.
Yeah, correct. Hydrogen is very inflammable actually.
What?
Inflammable.
अच्छा हाँ ठीक है.
It catches fire really quickly, right?
अच्छा
Uh,
हाँ ठीक है.
Correct. So, what I was saying is कि hydrogen. I think the main method that scientists are trying to work on is using water to generate hydrogen. So H2O goes into H2 and O2, and using
Mm-hmm.
that hydrogen as.
Yeah. I read about that. Yeah, हाँ.
That's one proposed solution, but yeah, that come from a commercial viability point, it's very very far.
Yes, that's right. I think it's people have actually like scraped. So I know a friend who made a Maruti 800 hydrogen based car. I think like 2017 or 18 he graduated from engineering. He created a hydrogen powered vehicle, and he did all sorts of tests that how the emissions would actually go down. But he, even deep down he knew that it's just a concept, and uh, it's not actually that viable.
I think in the early stages, right, of any technology,
Yeah,
people
that's very
should
true.
be given funding. That's what I truly believe, because research.
Funding, nahi. I don't think so. Like you should just be given money without saying the future concepts or future prospects actually.
No, yeah, future prospects is good. What I'm saying is ki, not just from the private side, right? I'm also talking from the government side. All of these sectors, I think they should try to push these startups and these small companies to innovate, because after true innovation, I think that's the one difference between humans and animals. We have the ability to innovate for everyone. Animals don't do that, right? So I think that's whatever funding is coming, whatever that money is, it should be given to companies and people who are trying to do new things. So, for example, Tesla, when they were starting off, right, they weren't
Hmm.
actually thought about as a serious company. People were swinging off because they had a very brave vision of the future. Now, when they have achieved it, people are rushing to get them funding. So, initial stages, you should have that backing from multiple sources, I feel.
Um, but I think it really depends upon the leader as well. Like, and the whole concept that he has in his brain. Like, it probably might not make sense to a lot of people in the beginning, but like eventually later on when things start to flourish, then people just hop on the bandwagon. ये तो हमें भी चाहिए.
Yeah, there are two very popular, what do you say, examples of startups that are valued very highly and blowing up. So
Yeah, CRED.
you've probably heard of WeWork, the $47 billion disaster.
Yeah, disaster. Yes,
So
I
his
saw the whole video. Yeah.
so his founder Paul Newman, and I think the main sort of trait of Paul Newman was he was very convincing. He had a very
Hmm.
convincing voice, so he could
I think it was at that point of time it was still very new concept, and people would have definitely appreciated WeWork if they like did not diversify in so many sectors. That's what I feel.
Actually, there is this another company. What happened was there is this company called Regus International, which is also a co-working sort of
Hmm. Hmm.
company. Now they were popular way back. They were even
Hmm.
profitable, but they were a
Hmm.
traditional company. What WeWork did
Acha.
was to show themselves as a technology company rather than a infrastructure
Hmm.
company. And when
Uh,
you add tech to anything, I think that's the craze today. That you can go very high
so
and
everybody, how you can like implement technology with your basic traditional business model? Is that
uh,
what you're trying to say?
no, what I'm saying is how they make those spaces, how they allocate all of that, how they share all those spaces, all of that was decided by algorithms. Right?
Okay.
How people are actually sitting in that co-working space and all of those things,
Acha.
where they should buy, what's the best place to buy, and all those things. Those were being taken up by algorithms, not humans. That's where that fascination came in from Wall Street and other big venture funds.
But alas, who would have thought?
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, exactly. And there is this another very popular case of Elizabeth Holmes. She's the
I
founder
haven't
of
heard.
a company called Theranos. Have you heard of it?
Nope, nope, nope. What's that
So,
about?
Elizabeth Holmes is a sort of a what do you say? She has a very very appealing personality, and she was the founder of a company called Theranos, which was trying to build a testing so a medical testing device that would take one drop of your blood and be able to test more than 80 different kinds of tests, so
Yes.
diabetes and
Interesting.
all of those different ones.
Hmm.
So with just one drop of blood, that was the main reason. And
Acha.
she's the woman Theranos, sorry, what do you say,
Elizabeth Holmes.
Elizabeth Holmes, and her company Theranos. And overall, I think she duped people of around $6 billion, and the startup was
Oh,
valued at around $9 billion.
so like, so what does, so how do you like repay the investors? What happens in this case?
So they are already going through court cases and all. So the Elizabeth Holmes is currently for court cases and all. But yeah, for the venture capitalists, there's nothing they can do. So they can sue her, they can take her property and all of that, but nothing else. Because they invested in a company, right? They bought the shares. They were not really people who have taken money or given the money as a loan. They bought the shares of the company, and if the company fails, their money goes away.
So
And
like, I'm sure what she had shown was like something very positive, and she definitely had some results in her hand. That is why
uh,
someone would invest, right? I'm sure कि किसी का blood test किया होगा, उसको 80 results दिखाए होंगे, only then anybody would invest in it.
no, so actually, you can go through this entire video. ये वाली video है ना? So I went over this
अच्छा.
and multiple other sources, and वहाँ से I came to know that she had absolutely nothing. She was very good at convincing people, and उसका ही एक
So
छोटा सा
it's
trailer.
something like, you remember that thing happened in India also, 251 wala phone,
Correct. Freedom 251, right?
Freedom 251.
Correct.
Everybody literally bought it and then later realized, fuck, duped.
Yeah. So I think most
Someone
of
was
us.
smarter than us.
I never even sort of had a slight what do you say, belief in my head that they'll ever
True,
give
true,
us.
same. I think my nani literally convinced me to get it. She's like, अगर खराब भी जाएगा, अगर कुछ वेस्ट होएगा तो 250 रुपए ही तो है ना, कोई बात नहीं.
Yeah, that company is bankrupt now with the freedom to 50.
Bankrupt? Why? Because what like wasn't the scene like they invested the whole amount for like couple of months and then returned after gaining the interest?
No, no, they as last I checked, they were bankrupt, not anymore. Their website was down and everything.
नहीं वो तो obviously they would have gone because it was all the scam. So what
Yeah,
I think,
probably.
so आपको एक time पे launch हुआ 251 का, you branded the whole phone very well and
Mm.
people invested like crores of rupees in it, and
Correct.
later you like after probably 2 or 3 months you say that नहीं होगा, you all get your money back and simple. सबको 251 वापस मिल गए, उसने वो जो पैसे जब मिले थे उसने वहां पे उसको शेयर मार्केट में या कहीं भी इन्वेस्ट भी कर दिए, तो उसको 5-6% कुछ भी 3 महीने के लिए तो आ ही गया होगा, सो रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट तो आ ही गया होगा, सो
This is also a type of Ponzi scam. You take the
एग्जैक्टली.
money, invest it. It's like वही 21 दिन में पैसा डबल वाली बात है.
हाँ एग्जैक्टली,
Correct.
बट मोर सोफिस्टिकेटेड.
Correct, right? And this is much sophisticated. You have Modi ji endorsing him. भारत वारत डाल दिया तो हो जाता
लेट्स नॉट स्पीक अबाउट देम,
है.
लेट्स नॉट गेट हेट कमेंट्स फर्स्ट.
अच्छा, so what I was talking about is कि how is she persuasive?
This is what
Persuasive.
happens
So
when
her
you want
voice,
to change.
she has the ability to change her voice actually.
What?
So she uses a fake voice when she talks to people, and usually she has a different voice. So you'll understand one second.
This is what happens when you work to change things. And first they think you're crazy, then they fight you, and then all of a sudden you change the world. And I have to say, I personally was shocked to see that the journal would publish something like this.
Her voice, her deep baritone voice, was that fake too?
According to my sources, it was an employee who joined the company in 2011. Had a meeting with her shortly after he joined, and it was late in the day, and they were finishing up the meeting, and she sort of expressed her excitement that he had recently joined. And as she got up, she forgot to put on the baritone and slipped back into a more natural-sounding young woman's voice.
Was everything about Elizabeth Holmes a fraud?
A lot of it was a lie.
No, it hasn't. Well, if I use traditional words to describe what we're doing, it's hard because people then associate it with conventional processes for analyzing drugs in development or whatever aspect we may be applying our technology to. But
So this is how she used to persuade. She did a lot of things. She also dressed up like Steve Jobs just to appeal to that persona. So yeah, she was a complete fraud.
I think it did work out well. For it was nice while it lasted, probably.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, right now they're probably in jail or somewhere. So I don't know if your current action.
Why would they be in jail? Like people invested in the company and the company didn't do well.
No,
Nobody could have like.
they can definitely. So investors do have that ability to sue these companies, right?
That's wrong.
Their money is down. If even if these companies go bankrupt, whatever the holdings are of these companies, whatever IP is there, everything that will be taken away by those investors. So they are already in court cases and all. And I think some normal people who got those results, who got botched up results and everything, they've also filed lawsuits. So it's from both the sides, investors as well as the customers.
Sure.
Deception is very common, but it's a different charisma I feel जो लोग करते हैं deceive करते हैं लोगों को.
Deceive as in?
निपुण आपकी आवाज can you speak one?
Hello, am I audible?
हाँ, you're audible. What I'm saying is कि it's a different sort of a thrill for some people who dupe other people.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
हाँ मतलब ठीक है. I mean, there's some sort of victory as well when you're putting someone down.
Yeah. And just having that your name flash in newspapers and everything, that also gives people.
This reminds me of that meme. Go on YouTube and search for शौक है मुझे, something of that sort. एक है शौक ऐसे. हाँ ये नीचे वाला first name.
This one?
Have you seen this one?
I haven't seen this one.
Bro, fuck amazing. देख एक बार.
मैं नदीम उर्फ बिल्लू सांडा। अच्छा, क्या बनना चाहते थे? क्यों मतलब इतनी हत्या कर रहे थे? मैं इसलिए हत्या कर रहा था, मुझे नाम चाहिए। क्या नाम चाहिए? बस डॉन बनना मुझे पूरे पश्चिम उत्तर प्रदेश का। अच्छा। और इसलिए मैं भागा था यहाँ से कस्टडी में से। मुझे 5 मर्डर करने थे इकट्ठे। अच्छा। अगर भैया मैं पैसे मांगता, अगर मुझे कोई पैसे न देता ना तो मैं उसे निपटाता। तो क्या पैसों के लिए मर्डर करते हो? जी। पहले कितने पैसे लिए? 5,95,000 में जिस तगार प्रॉपर्टी डीलर मारा था मैंने। अच्छा। फिर 62 फुटा पर क्या नाम है अमजद की हत्या करी थी मैंने। अब किन्हें मारना चाहते थे? अब आजम मिर्ची का और बुरा मुखबर हसीना का। क्यों है? क्यों मारना चाहते थे? वो मेरे से दुश्मनी करे थे। अच्छा। और 3-4 जने और थे। अच्छा। उधर गई। तो किसको देख के तुम्हें सीख मिली? क्या थोड़ा वो शौक है बचपन से। मेरा बाप बदमाश था, मैं भी बदमाश ही हूँ। अच्छा। जी। शौक है मुझे इस चीज का, बदमाशी का। जिससे जो जिसके खलनायक देखे जी। तो क्या संजय दत्त बनना चाहते हैं? संजय दत्त ही होंगे मैं। 10 अक्टूबर रात के 10 बजे बल्लू तुम्हारी जेल से फरार। अच्छा, जेल से जब तुम भागे तो क्या पहले से कह के भागे थे कि भाई मैं जो है ना अपनी जेल के अंदर अपने क्या नाम है बैरिंग के अंदर 3 दिन पहले कह दिया था मैं ना कस्टडी से भाग जाऊंगा मैं। अच्छा। आज ही। और उसी दिन भाग गया। इस दिन भागे क्या कह के आया था अपने आने? वो कह के आया था क्या? मैंने कहा भाग जाऊंगा आज, जेल नहीं आने का। उसी दिन भाग गया मैं। तो अब जैसे अब जेल में ले जाएंगे, कितने दिन रहोगे जेल में? तो आप भाग गया मुश्किल से 6 महीने। 6 महीने बाद फिर हवा भाई। अच्छा, मतलब इन्हें मारना है लेकिन यहाँ से नहीं, बाहर से। बाहर के मुकदमे मेरे पास। अच्छा, जब आज ये इन्होंने पकड़ा तो फायर किस पे किया था तुमने? इंस्पेक्टर साहब पे। क्यों है? बस मर्जी थी मेरी हूँ। मुझे पकड़ने के चक्कर में। वो तो इनके नसीब बढ़िया है, बच गए।
अरे भाई
इंटरेस्टिंग चीज।
बहुत ज्यादा। हाँ तो निपुन आई थिंक ये अब जैसे अपनी पॉडकास्ट का नाम है मुसाफिर जिंदगी का, एंड आई थिंक किसी भी इस कॉन्वर्सेशन में somehow I feel music is one thing that everyone sort of relates to. तो I think आप और जक्सिवत you both are very interested into rap, right? वो
but I like to listen to different sorts of music, but rap seems to be one of them. And I know Jacksifat raps really well, so that's a plus. And we somehow, so I remember we were probably कहाँ जा रहे थे? If Jack's there, I don't remember. वही चला रहा था गाड़ी, and कहाँ डेस्टिनेशन? कल्पा जा रहे थे हम, ताबो जा रहे थे, जहाँ हमने स्टार गेजिंग की थी. What was that place?
जहाँ हम छत पे गए थे, that was I think
ताबो. हाँ, तो ताबो जा रहे थे, and Jack was driving. And मैं all of a sudden मेरे पास I had like couple of songs download, कुछ मेरे पास ज्यादा प्लेलिस्ट में डाउनलोड करके नहीं गया था, मैं 1-2 ही प्लेलिस्ट अपनी डाउनलोड करके गया था. तो मैंने ऐसे ही अपना एक सुन रहा था JJ47, तो मैंने ऐसे रैंडमली लगा दिया. एंड ही गोज लाइक, ब्रो ये गाना कितना सही है, तूने सुना है ये? हम लाइक हाँ, ये तो सारे सुने, मतलब ये मोस्टली सुनता ही हूँ मैं वाले. तो क्योंकि सो व्हाट आई लुक फॉर इज ईदर अ गुड मेलोडी और गुड लिरिक्स व्हिच आई कुड कनेक्ट टू. So not necessarily कि मतलब mix हो, but like I would prefer either of two. So हाँ, तो ये जो उर्दू रैप्स है इसमें like it hits me in the feels. So all of them rap really well, and every verse is like on another level. So we probably just bonded over that, and then eventually got close. Yeah.
With music I feel बहुत clans बने हुए हैं. तो for example जैसे वहाँ पे in our trip अपन we were listening to a lot of this Hindi songs जो थोड़े से romantic type and all. तो वहाँ पे एक mashup आया, this Bollywood in 4 chords हमने बजाया था. So this video by Scoop Poop, Bollywood in 60 years of Bollywood.
60 years of Bollywood.
60 years of Bollywood part 2. तो वहाँ पे I was a fan of that video. तो मैं गाने लगा, then उदय गाने लगा, then some other people गाने लगे, and Jug cringed उसी टाइम पे. Jug cringed, and उसी टाइम पे I started to cringe. नहीं मतलब जैसे ही वो बता you both cringed at the same time तो मेरे को लगा हाँ there are these clans in music कि हमें ये पसंद है हमें ये पसंद है थोड़ा ना कहीं वो है.
नहीं, I would rather listen to the original set of each song or a live version जो original composer ने बनाया than a recreation of somebody else. Like covers मुझे इतने ज़्यादा पसंद नहीं है. Like honestly, like there are people who are really mad about covers, but until and unless it does justice to the original track, I don't usually like it.
I feel
It's
cover
very personal, to be honest.
yeah
Like
correct.
no offense to anybody who's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
covering
I
songs.
love covers lots of times, and I think covers के लिए ना what happens is कि how does one learn something, right? You are studying or you are playing music, acting. What you do is you start imitating other people. That's how you actually get that initial intuition of doing something. So
Hmm.
I feel doing covers, releasing them, that's a different question. But doing covers is a very big part of how you develop as a musician because you are listening to other people's work, how you interpret that, how you change that. That is
Exactly. There should be some sort of individualism. Fuck my bad. But I feel like it should do justice to the original track with the hint of your ownness, like with the hint of what you can edit or like add something, some of your flair to it. But पता नहीं,
कहीं
it's
ना कहीं
probably
it
just
also
me.
depends, right? कि जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल कोई अगर नया बंदा है, ठीक है, someone who is just learning, starting to learn, maybe he's one
Hmm.
month into his art, वहां पे
Hmm.
adding his own flair, that's not a
Right. Yeah. True. True.
that's not a luxury that he has, right? वहां पे
True.
he might be able to just imitate it. So I think it's all stages. Obviously, if you have had 10 years of playing experience and then still you are playing those covers, then somewhere you're not developing as a musician or as an artist. So your input should come in, but I think there needs to be a learning time before that input starts coming in because otherwise it will be forced, right? You're trying too hard to bring in your flair without actually knowing the basics.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Uh, so that way, I think you can probably use some chorus of some song, then eventually add some of your probably a verse to it or like a
I,
different melody or a different beat, which might appeal to a different set of people.
correct. Yeah, I also feel like you should work in sort of a progression. So you take a
True,
song that you like,
true.
break it down to the different aspects. Don't change all of it. Try to mimic or do something unique for one part of it. Write your own lyrics, your own instrument. Try to if you're
But I
learning.
think uh, there you'll always find haters around because people who would always try to bring you down, and I think constructive criticism is actually people usually take it very negatively, but I personally would like really appreciate if someone tells me, "Hey, dude, just this is wrong. This is not nice.
Mhm.
Or probably redo this, or this is not going well." So I think that really does matter in music. Like you have to be honest. If you like something, just be honest. If you don't like something, just tell them that, dude, please redo.
Yeah, I think फील मतलब एटलीस्ट इंडियंस में तो ये बहुत ही ज़्यादा है फील कि हम फीडबैक लेने में बिल्कुल भी अच्छे नहीं हैं. If someone
True,
criticizes us, it's always
true,
thought
true.
of as a bad thing rather than a positive thing. ये मेरे साथ आई थिंक कॉर्पोरेट लाइफ में भी होती है इन सम वेज. तो मेरी मैनेजर
Like after you going to an interview, you never
करेक्ट.
ask for, dude, how did I do? Where should I improve? Where did I lack? I think that is very necessary for the interviewer to tell you, and as a employee or a prospective employee or future employee to ask. Like even if you get selected, you should know that where did you lack? What went wrong? What did I do right here?
And it's a policy of I think many companies, right? It's a policy that they
Even after rejection, you should be knowing that why was I rejected? Was it because of my qualification? Was it because of my probably wrong answers during the interview? Was I like hesitating a lot, or was I too hyperactive? Of anything, you should just know. HR की responsibility बननी चाहिए to tell you कि like क्या गलत हुआ या क्या सही हुआ that you got in.
that's a problem of the capitalist world, right? वही मुझे लगता है. So many of these big companies, right, they are under no obligation to give us a feedback, and many of them don't prefer doing that.
Exactly.
So there's somehow, even our companies as well as us, we believe in our heads that feedback is not something that should be openly discussed.
That is very true. So
Yeah.
similar way, I was telling you that I have never received a call from Amazon, despite probably applying there like a million fucking times already. Well,
Uh,
not even a single call. I tried to research a lot about Amazon CVs, how do they shortlist. I tried to make amends on my own, but no luck at all.
okay, if you want, I can give you a referral. That's the
I
big.
have already put in a referral like from general managers and like a lot of other people as well. Even for internships, like I'm ready to start as an intern all over again, but still they don't prefer me. I think they are missing out on something really good, but never mind.
Yeah, I don't know. Interview processes are very, it's outside anyone one person's understanding. I never understand that process. Let's see what
Huh.
happens now. So
Yeah.
you have recently joined in CRED, I suppose, right?
Yep. Yep.
So
Yep.
have you started your work there?
Yeah. I've been working here. It's just been a week to be honest, and everybody is already too worked up with the IPL going on currently. So my training में थोड़ा issue आ रहा है. Like people are already busy, and I'm trying to bug everybody every now and then. He help me out with this, help me out with this. Uh,
Yeah, so what's your
and also there are people suffering from COVID. All of a sudden cases are like rising like anything.
yeah,
And I think today we had around like what 1.8 lakh new cases.
exactly. It has
Uh,
increased a lot. I think the lowest went to around 9,000 cases a day. Now it's around 180,000.
yeah. So and a lot of my people in my team are also suffering from COVID. So and sometimes what happens is the whole family suffering from COVID. So every bit, so that person might need extra attention. He has to take care of himself as well as his parents.
Exactly.
So
It's been a
and
challenge. Yeah,
yeah, it's been challenging for everybody.
exactly.
And I'm not sure what is the reason because for the second or third wave, whatever it is, but it seems like a strong one.
Yeah.
I don't think इंडिया में 1 लाख केसेस आए थे जब हमारा फर्स्ट लॉकडाउन लगा
I
था.
remember
I
very
think
exactly, it was 97,000 cases
हाँ
max.
एग्जैक्टली तब
Yeah,
मेरे को इतना ही याद है कि 97 पे देन वी स्टार्टेड टू लाइक डिक्रीज एंड
correct.
दिल्ली में व्हाट आई रिमेम्बर इज दिल्ली का तो आई रिमेम्बर इट क्वाइट सिग्निफिकेंटली कि like we all only had like 10,000 new cases per day at max, but there was this 1 or 2 days I think we had 10,000 cases new cases per day, and now today I think we had around 18,000 new cases, 17,000 new cases, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So
Cases has bursted a lot, and I think the only ray of hope right now is vaccines.
No. So I'll tell you a very intriguing case. One of my mom's colleague. So my mom's got both the vaccinations done,
Yeah.
and one of her colleagues got got corona positive after getting the second dose of vaccine. So
Okay, so there is just one, I think, just to add to that, because it's a very common discussion that I have with people. So, just to clarify, I think one thing that you're missing here is the point of vaccines is not to stop COVID from happening. So, all of these vaccines, right?
yeah, so they'll probably reduce the risk of severity, but like they cannot stop COVID. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. So when we say that we want 70-80% of the population vaccinated, by that we genuinely mean that we want people to be immune to it. It shouldn't affect them that much. Vaccines' main job is not to definitely to actually prevent you from getting COVID. At least these vaccines, but they are 100% efficient in not causing severe diseases, and some vaccines are around 95% efficient in not even causing COVID. But yeah, overall, I think vaccines are very good. tools to fight this pandemic. I would probably encourage everyone to just go ahead and, if your turn has come up, go ahead and get that vaccine. I think one thing that India is lacking behind is in actually rolling it out to junior people. So 45,
Yeah,
that's the only
yeah,
thing.
that I think that's probably because of the population that we actually have.
That's correct, but I think that
I mean, I know people, couple of my friends in US who have already like received both the vaccinations,
yeah, the
both the
United
doses.
States started it on 9th of April. I think that's when it started for everybody. So before that, it was only some age groups, but then now it's for everyone. I think it's a
So
huge
let's
thing,
see.
right? They have around 200 million doses administered. Their population is 300 million, so they'll reach that milestone very very soon as compared to India.
200 million हो गया वहाँ पे?
Yeah, 200 vaccines, 200 million doses दे चुके हैं are already.
Interesting. यार पता नहीं इतना होगा तो सही है. Like I'm sure then they'll be the COVID-free land now.
Yeah, the fastest nation to do it is Israel actually. There's a very interesting story for Israel. So what they did was they conducted. So Pfizer vaccine reached Israel, and
Hmm.
I don't if it's Pfizer or Moderna, that I'm not sure, but one of
Hmm.
them reached there. And what they did was they conducted the stage 3 trials of these vaccines on their people directly. So
Which is not cool, but okay.
yeah, that's not cool. It turned out okay. That's why no one will scrutinize them. But yeah, they did the phase 3 trial directly on people without any that sort of monitoring. So right now they've given around 1.2 vaccines per person. So all their entire
1.2?
yeah, the 1.2 vaccines per person. So every person has to get two vaccines, right? Two doses.
Acha, 1.2. Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
they're probably 80% short for the
correct. So
second dose.
yeah, everyone has got their first dose already. So that's a big
Okay.
achievement for a country like Israel. And Israel is actually the leader in technology in the world.
Yeah, yeah. I
After
think I remember they were also competing against who's gonna get the first vaccine. They also had some competitor, I believe.
yeah, they were also developing these vaccines. I think more than these developed democracies. This time, what I saw was in the pandemic, at least, the Saudi Arabian nations, the
Hmm.
Middle East nations, they were very quick
Middle East.
to authorize the use of these vaccines. It started off in Uruguay, where the first approval was given, and even before
Hmm.
that, Russia had already given an approval. But yeah, in the democratic countries, it
I
started.
remember as a joke or something, China in 2020 only told that we have already found a vaccine and we have started applying it on a population. Do you
Yeah,
remember?
yeah, China started it very soon. So their vaccine is called Sinovac and Sinopharm, and
Hmm.
they started it very very early on.
Nobody actually trusted them. Like, नहीं तुम वायरस भी तुमने नहीं बनाया है, तो वैक्सीन भी तुम बनाओगे, रहने दो.
Correct. But I think abhi at least Sinovac is authorized in 50 countries. So now
अच्छा, is
everyone
it?
accepts. Yes. Sinovac is very very accepted. It's also just like the Sputnik vaccine from Russia. India will produce around 100 million, 100 crore doses every year for the world. So
Oh,
yeah, India is the vaccine manufacturer of the world.
हाँ वो तो पुणे में उनका है ना, I think.
That's
What is
just
that?
Serum Institute. वो तो
हाँ,
that
Serum Institute.
manufacturing Covishield. But उसके अलावा
Hmm.
भी right outside of SII मतलब the overall vaccine production of India is very very high. मतलब the world depends on us literally. Usually that's what the case is.
Interesting. So
And
one of the interesting factors about vaccine was my mom went for the vaccination and she saw the manufacturing date on the dose. It was July 2020.
July 2020.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm not sure how that reached here. It should have gotten.
So probably what might have happened, they might have started preparing the vaccines, whatever dose, so like whatever kind of vaccines they had in the initial stages, उसकी बहुत सारी doses बना दी होंगी, like 100 million for this, 100 million for this, and eventually they scraped out the other ones, and जो बची होंगी वो जुलाई से ही पड़ी होंगी probably.
Yeah, so vaccine production is that's correct. You have to ramp it up धीरे धीरे. So I think right now Serum Institute is producing around 100 million doses every month. That's what the last figure is. So 100 million is around 10 crore doses every month.
Fair enough.
They've ramped it up really well. Yeah, so COVID, let's see.
हमारी बारी कब आएगी? हमारी बारी कब आएगी?
I think abhi it's April. I think by August we'll get that chance. September, August.
Could be, yeah, makes sense.
I
नहीं, probably later. I think देखो 25 आने में time लगेगा. और like अभी देखो 45 plus चल रहा है, then eventually 35 plus होगा, and then 30 plus होगा, then 25 plus. Teenagers और इस पे तो काफी time लगेगा.
नहीं मेरे को लगता है what I feel is कि they'll allow employers to give their people their vaccines. Even from age ka, just to let people come back to office.
And that also makes sense.
So udhar se I think people will get vaccinated. US mein to that happens very frequently. Even though it's free for people, all of the vaccines are free, but still companies do that and they do it for their employees directly. So that
Amazon will be paying for your vaccine, right? Like, have they announced anything?
Yeah, that's already announced. We'll get it all reimbursed. If we get it outside of office, we can get it reimbursed. If we get it inside the office, there is no fees for that.
ठीक है, फिर तो सही है, makes sense.
Yeah, I think we can sort of wrap the things up. And do you have anything and last thing that you want to say to the folks?
No, man, good stuff, good initiative. Like, I really enjoyed it. Surprisingly, this is my first podcast. Didn't feel like much effort, to be honest.
Yeah, podcasts are very simple to join in and just converse. Initially, it's a little bit challenging to bring that momentum. But once you get that, you just keep flowing. You don't really have to think much about it. Yeah, thank you, Nipun, for joining us. And it was great having you here. So we'll see you all later on. Yeah, thank you.
Soon, bro. Soon, definitely.
Yeah, I was talking to the audience actually. But yeah, it's okay. Yeah, we'll see you all folks later on. Thank you. Bye bye. I'll just stop recording 8 minutes.